Okay, here we go. Good day, folks. Long time no see on the channel. Welcome back. We've just, as you know, life happens and things move along. So we're going to do a vid today, and we're going to finish up on that on the tree story. Well, not finish up, but just progress a little bit more than what we were. And if you remember, you can have a look here. That's where we ended up last. We got our tree started, and we got the base done for the leaves, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you how I get the leaves together, how I just make them quickly, and they've obviously got to dry overnight before we can actually put them on. And since we were together last, I just, as you can see over here, I've been busy with the DMAG, and the DMAG is getting done as we speak. We're slowly getting finished with that diorama. That's with the Hungarian diorama, and with Captain Ferenc. Those of you who've been following, and Lieutenant Ugrik, and Sturmscharführer Klaus. That little story will unfold as soon as I get the DMAG sorted. And in the meantime, while we were doing that, I also finished with the good lieutenant, that old dragon figure that I found that I spruced up. Finished that little vignette, and I'll show that to you in a minute. We can just take a walk over there quickly, and we can have a look over here. You'll see this is where he is, and if you can have a look here, this is what I've done, and that's him. He's nicely posed there on his little vignette, and as you can see, if you get a bit closer, if I'm not in the light, you can see I finished the strap on the MP40. I'm also going to be doing a little, I've decided to change that up and do a slight on a bigger scale how I did the strap, because it's quite finicky to get it done, and it's time consuming. So that was the good captain that was done there, and that's his tree that I did as well. So that was that also completed in the interim and while we've been away. So let's get back to what we were going to do on the desk. And the coffee's looking good, always nice and warm. It's quite a nice, cool, rainy Saturday afternoon. So let's get going. Cheers. Good cup of Java. So what we're going to do is, what I always do, and I see in a lot of channels, and I just browse them as I go along, just see how guys do things. I'm an amateur when it comes to this, as I've told you before. So I always see them as they use quite, not fancy, but quite good stuff. I suppose I want the video to look good, but bearing in mind this is a hobby, and you also, when you're mixing stuff, I always try and use recyclable containers, etc. These are little plastic containers where we buy our for our dogs and cats, our Petsmans in this, and then I keep them, wash them out, don't toss them away, and I use them. What I'm going to use it for now, then I'm using for mixing stuff and mixing resins and etc., etc., etc. And so I mean, you don't have to have expensive stuff to do this. Like I've said before many times, save your pennies, keep that for the kids, man. Okay, right, let's push on. So what we're going to do, let's just get some of our leaves out here. Let's just see what we've got. Okay, that's the moss. We don't want that one. Let's take, this is the one we want. Okay, that's the one we want. Okay, so what we're going to do, you remember, I told you about our parsley that we were using. So we've got our leaves in here. If you come and have a look down here, we've got our whole mix in here. So what we're going to do now, just push that one side. Okay, we're going to get some inside here. Okay, we're going to put a bit in there. We'll get a little bit there. Now we're going to do it like that. We'll mix up quite a bit. Okay, right. So that's what I do there. It's a little bit dusty, but it's all natural stuff. This all organic, grass leaves, etc., etc. We're not going to use any parsley just yet. What I'll do is I'll mix a separate one with the parsley, and then just put that back in there. Right, now what we got to do, we got our two different paints. If you guys can just see what's going on here. We get some light on the what's the name. And remember, this I said to you was the 2 poster paints that I use. This is just straightforward, basic water-based paints. You can see I've got 2 greens here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to mix up. Just mix it up a little bit. Doesn't mean. Now I'm going to use this one first. This one's a slightly different color. That's a brighter green. So we're just going to mix a little bit up here. And as I said before, this is a poster paint, so it's inexpensive. It's not pricey at all, and you can just mix. It's water based, and you can mix it up, and I mean that's not an issue at all. Okay, and it does. But one thing, folks, you must remember with this poster paint, and I'm sure as you all know, is that you need to be careful by splashing this on your clothes. Otherwise, although it is water based, and if it dries on there, it will stain. It will stain. So just bear that in mind. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my just hang 10 there. I just want to get some water quickly. Okay, I'm back again. Here we go. Okay, we've got a bit of water. Okay, so what I do is I just add a little bit of water in here. Okay, mix that up a little bit. A little bit more water. Mix that up a little bit. Okay. So you're getting, if you can see here now, you're getting almost like a granular effect. Okay, it's clumping a bit, which is what you want. You're getting it a little bit moist. Okay, now what you do is you just pour a little bit of paint in there, like that, and you mix that up, folks. You see? Just pour a little bit of paint and you mix that up, and you just mix it up like that. Okay. Now, the more water you spread in here, obviously the more the paint's is going to disperse amongst your leaves, as it were. Okay, but you also don't want to put too much water in, because you want a little bit of that darker natural look to come through. Okay, so now you're mixing it up. Now what we're going to do, we're going to add a little bit of this. Just add a little bit of a touch of this, because a little bit goes a long way. Okay, you're just going to get that other color coming through. You see that other color coming through there. Okay, and what we're going to do, we're just going to touch it a little bit more. There we go. Not too much. Okay, you want to mix that up. Okay, you got a few threads in there and a few hairs. You don't want to worry about that too much. Okay, folks, that's where we are. We can close this up. Let's wipe that off like that. Close that up. We can put that one side. Okay, so now, okay, bearing in mind, all this is using stuff that I've readily got made, etc., that I can find, I've got at home, etc., etc., etc. So this is inexpensive. You don't have to cost a lot of money, but you're gonna get the effect. Now what we're gonna do, we've got that nicely mixed up. I'm gonna get you back down here again, just for a few seconds. And then what I do is I like to use these old plastic trays that I have, and as you can see in this one I've already mixed. I've done some before. Now what I do is I take this mixture and I've mixed it up. We just mix it up a little bit more. Okay, we get it going. Mix it up nicely. Now what we do is we're going to spread this out on here. Okay, and you got a nice green mush on here. Okay, like that. Get it all out. A nice paste out there. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, let's get that all out. Right. Okay, let's put that to one side. We'll rinse that now. And now what you're going to do is you're going to spread this out, folks. Spread this out like this. And once you've got it all spread out, this has to dry. Okay, so you've got to get it to dry. And once it dries, then you flake it up. Okay, because then you've colored it and you flake it up. And it will come out and we'll show you. And you got that nice rich green sort of dark leafy color with the odd browns coming through from the natural bits that are left over. Okay, so you want that. So what you want to do is you just want to even this out a little bit like this, and these are your leaves and your foliage that you're creating, you see. Okay, let's just take that there. Let's just take a shorter sucker stick. And that's another thing, folks, collect these things. Wherever you go, wherever you see these little ice cream sticks or sucker sticks, whatever you guys call them, yeah, in South Africa these are ice cream sticks. You get different ones like this as well. Collect them. It's genuine wood. Okay, I collect them wherever I go. If I find them, I pick them up, just take them home, wash them, etc., etc. And if you really want to be pedantic about them, you can just put them in a bit of boiling water or something just to sanitize them a bit. But I mean, they're actually fantastic. You can use them for a multitude of things. As far as you can make gates out of them, you can make fences, you can do all kinds of things out of them. Now, folks, if you want to speed this process up, you can sort of hijack your wife's or your girlfriend or your fiance or your lady friend's hairdryer, or if you got one yourself, and you can do that. But I like to let it dry on a natural process, and then it just dries better that way. But you can. So what you want to do is you just want to make it nice and even like that. Okay, now you've got it there. Let's just put that one side. Wipe my hands off. There it is. Now you've got the basis for your leaves. Okay, but this has got to dry. Okay, so once this dries, and coffee there's good, and then we can move on from here, and I'll show you exactly how we're going to put that onto our tree and really bring it out and make your tree look pretty realistic. There is another thing that I just wanted to mention, that a lot of modelers, or I think from time to time, when you buy these ready-made products from the certain companies, they tend to use that. It's called the florists. They call it Ireland, I think it is. It's that like green foamy stuff, and when you crunch it, it goes very brittle. Yes, I've seen that being used, and I tried it a while back, but it just doesn't. It does work, especially if you view it from a certain distance, but it just does. It's not that realistic enough. I find when I use the natural breaking up old leaves, grass cuttings, or like the parsley, etc., etc., that to me gives me a much more realistic look to the tree or the shrub or whatever you're trying to create as far as foliage is concerned. Okay, so folks, there we go. It's a very short video just to kick off, to get the series going again. So make sure that you follow this process. It must dry. This has got to dry. So hopefully, depending if we have sun tomorrow, I'm going to put it out now. We got a bit of humidity, a bit of rain this side of us, so it might take a bit longer. You can try and put it in the oven in a very lukewarm oven, but I don't know. It might also, change it a bit. I like to let it dry naturally. So let's leave it at that. Anyway, once again, if you like the video, please hit the like button. Share if you feel it's worth sharing, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and there are still going to be lots more. And once again, I do apologize for the big gap in the videos, but there will be more coming on more frequently now. So the next one, hopefully if this dries tomorrow, then I can follow up and we can show you how we crunch it up, and then we'll start applying it. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Cheers.